So there was a man who was on an extended business trip, and he was just coming home and walking up his sidewalk to his front door, and he noticed a little neighbor boy next door outside playing in his front yard, and so he went up to him and he said, "Wow, Johnny, you sure have grown." And Johnny stood up to his full height and raised his chin and said, "I'm bigger than this." And you know what kids mean when they say that. It's like, don't, I'm still growing. Don't expect me to just stay at this level. I'm bigger than this. I'm more than this. Which is a great message for all of us too. We're more than this. We're more than what we see. We're more than what we think we are. We're so much more than that. We're bigger than this. We're bigger than that challenge. We're bigger than that situation. We're bigger than that thing, that obstacle that's standing in our way. We're bigger than it. And we certainly have challenges these days. We're certainly seeing them. I am completely disheartened about what's going on in Minneapolis, as I'm sure many of you are. 2 young lives taken needlessly. We're bigger than that. We're more than that. And we're seeing a disrespect for life, a disrespect for the souls that are there. And I want to ask all of you and all of you online to pray with me for Minneapolis, to pray with me for any place where there's not peace, any place where people are harming other people, any place where we're not showing how big we are in stature, in soul, in love, that we have more to us than what is being demonstrated right now. And so I ask us to just take a moment right now and hold that vision for the people of Minneapolis, for the people, anybody that's in harm's way. Thank you. Thank you. So a couple of weeks ago, I introduced our theme for the Year of Possibility. And I said that the invitation is to think outside the box, to ask what's possible instead of what's probable. And not what's possible in a negative way, but what's possible. What good could come from this situation? And I'm really excited about this theme. And it's so in alignment with unity teachings, because when we look at the first unity principle, that God or spirit or divine mind or the universe or the field or whatever you want to call it is that one power, that one presence, there's only one, means it contains all of the infinite possibilities that there are. And if we are created in that image of that oneness, of that power, we too have available to us infinite possibilities. We have so many possibilities available, but what happens when Unity's third principle is that our thoughts, our beliefs, our actions, our emotions will determine our experience of our life. And so that includes our unconscious beliefs. And a lot of times we don't even know, but we're run by some limiting belief that we're holding unconsciously. But it's affecting everything in our life. And we don't even see all the possibilities that are before us. We don't see our potential. We have so much potential. And we can't see it because we are using that filter of our beliefs to create the reality in which we live. So one of the ways to try to harness, or not harness, but to see the possibilities is to embrace uncertainty. You might go, huh? It may not seem like a popular thing. You know, in our society, a lot of times we want to know, right? We want to know instantly, and we can with Google and Alexa and ChatGPT and Gemini and all those. We can know instantly the answer to any question, just about. But embracing uncertainty can help us really live our lives, really live a life of meaning, a life of purpose, a life of surprise and awe and wonder. And Mel Schwartz, and these are two books that I'm using right now with this year of possibility, The Possibility Principle and The Art of Possibility. Mel Schwartz, who wrote The Possibility Principle, says this: "The uncertain presents limitless possibilities and attracts our full attention. It allows us to be present and enlivens our lives." You might say, why? How does that work? How does that play in? How does uncertainty help me live a more fun life? Well, think about what most of us do for entertainment. How do we amuse ourselves? How do we entertain ourselves? What brings us joy? What things are fun? Sporting events, go Broncos, sporting events, yeah. Where we don't know the outcome ahead of time, uncertainty. Movies, plays, TV shows, books. We don't know how they're going to turn out. And this is how we entertain ourselves. We like the suspense of it. We like the what if of it. We like the not knowing how it's going to all play out. And we entertain ourselves with this. And what it does is it brings us out of our dull, predictable lives. Why do we entertain ourselves? So that we want that. There's part of us that wants that suspense, that awe, that surprise, that not knowing. Mel goes on to say, this is what happens if we need to have everything certain. Being bound in a straitjacket of certainty makes us like a character in a novel for whom the plot is already written. We're simply living according to our script. And maybe you read the last page of a book before you get to the end. I don't know. I don't. I don't want to know. I want to be surprised. I want to enjoy the process. And that's all part of this embracing uncertainty. It's part of the participatory mindset that Mel talks about in his book. That for decades, for centuries, we have lived in a mechanistic, materialistic mindset where we want to measure everything, we want to be certain about everything, we want to know where we're going to end up. But a participatory mindset means we're participating, we're creators, we're creating our realities, we're creating our experience. And we can always change, which makes life fun. Think about if you've been in love, and that when you first were falling in love with someone, you didn't know what they were going to say, you didn't know what they would do, like you hung on every word, every interaction, every time you got together. And then what happens a few years down the road when it's predictable? When you kind of get into a routine and you get into a rut, it's not as exciting anymore. It's not as fun, possibly. Maybe not my marriage, but I don't even know if Kevin's here. I don't think he's here. I hope you're watching online, honey. Anyway, right? I mean, that's the whole part of that exciting part of falling in love is you don't know what's going to happen next. We want to embrace that uncertainty. We want to embrace it because it opens us up to possibilities. If we have to ensure something is going a certain way and be certain about the path and the process and how we're going to get there and what's going to happen at the end and what kind of outcome we want, that's great. But it's not going to open us up to all, we fail to see all the other possibilities that are available to us because we're just going this path. Just one path, one obstacle after another, trying to get to the finish line. Instead of all the amazing things out there. There's a video I think that shows this really well. So I love that video because isn't that what we do? Like we look at life, we have our heads down, we want things to go a certain way. We treat it like it's an obstacle course, having one obstacle after the other, trying to get to the finish line. And what did Jesus say about, be like the little children? Then you'll get into the kingdom of heaven. Then you'll know the fullness of life. By having that sense of wonder and awe with head up, the little one, head up. And then what happens as we have our head down, we get to something that is just too scary. And it stops us in our tracks. And we can't go any further. We're paralyzed. We're paralyzed because all we see is the drop. We don't see to the other side. So I love how the little one can teach the older one how to be in a different way. And then at the end, they're using each other's ways. They've learned from each other, a lot like our Belonging Project that Annalisa started here, that we're learning from each other. Life isn't an obstacle course. It's meant to be lived joyfully and abundantly and lovingly and happily. And we can do that. We're bigger than this. We're bigger than having our heads down and just jumping over the next obstacle, one little thing at a time, one challenge at a time. In the book, The Art of Possibility, Benjamin Zander, one of the authors, is a conductor. and he teaches a class in Boston at a university. And he has, at the beginning of his school year, he's telling about how he has a new group of students. And they're going to be with him for 2 semesters, so the whole school year. And it's a music interpretation, musical performance class. And he knows how the university requires teachers to give so many A's, so many B's, so many C's, and so on. But he's really feeling kind of apprehensive about this. He's not looking forward to the students who are just going to compete with each other and let their anxiety get in the way because of their performances and not try new things because they don't want to make a mistake. And so he decides that at the beginning of the year, he's giving everyone an A. All his students get an A, and he tells them, you're all getting an A in this course. And to earn that A, I want you to write a letter, date it in May, write a letter to me, and tell me why you deserve that A. Explain to me the person you will have become that earned that A. Which I love this idea. Give someone an A. We can give anyone an A. And what happens when we give them an A ahead of time? They live into it. They're not feeling like they're going to be getting measured or compared. Benj says this, the practice of giving an A transports your relationships from the world of measurement into the universe of possibility. This A is not an exception to live up to, but a possibility to live into. We can give anyone an A. We should be giving ourselves an A so that we can live into that possibility, live into that A. He had one student who was from Taiwan, and the student wrote his letter, kind of broken English, and talked about how in Taiwan he was ranked number 68 out of 70 students. And he writes, Mr. Zander, give me an A. I don't understand this. I'm confused for 3 weeks. In Taiwan, I'm 68. Here I am an A. I keep holding on to this thought, I'm an A. But in Taiwan, I'm 68. And he said, 3 weeks later, I decide I'm much happier being A. So I decide to be A. We have this opportunity to live into that A. Stop comparing, stop judging, stop measuring, and just be our potential, live into our potential. So much more, and we can see it when we're not holding on to certainty. Someone who always has given me an A is my spiritual director. And I've been meeting with her. Her name's Karen. I've been meeting with her for, I think, 7 or 8, maybe 9 years. I can't remember when we started exactly. But she always gives me an A. I feel like every time I meet with her once a month, that no matter what's going on in my life, no matter what I share, she just sees the Christ in me. She beholds the goodness in me. And you know what happens when somebody is seeing the good in you, seeing the Christ in you, seeing the A in you, is you rise up to it. You live up to it. And so in spiritual direction, she is witnessing my life as it's unfolding, the things that I share with her. And because I know that she sees the best in me, I tend to see the best in myself when I'm talking to her. I have so many revelations when I'm talking to her because I'm seeing the Christ in me. It's a beautiful process, and we're going to have a workshop this afternoon to help you understand what spiritual direction is and how it can change your life. See the A in someone, maybe even someone you don't like so much. and watch them grow into your awareness of them as a bigger person. I'm bigger than this. I'm bigger than this. There's so much potential. There's a story in the Bible about Moses, who, as a young shepherd, went to this bush, and he heard this voice, "Take off your shoes, for you're standing on holy ground." And this bush was on fire. And as Moses contemplated this scenario, he realized that the fire was in him, that he was alive, knowing his own creative potential. How many of us know our own creative potential? When we're alive with it, we're on fire with it. We're on fire with this excitement of how many possibilities are available to us. It's incredible. We see our own magnificence. And we take off our shoes. We take off, in Unity, we say that our feet represent our understanding, our spiritual understanding. And so we don't want anything in the way of that. And so we take off our shoes. We don't take off all the materialistic views that stand in the way of you knowing who you are, of remembering who you are, and knowing all the greatness that's in you, all the magnificence that's in you. Because there's so much that we don't see because of our limiting beliefs, because of those beliefs that hold us back. There's a story in the Possibility Principle book that Mel talks about a woman named Jill, who, when she was 8 years old, her mom told her that, "When I was pregnant with you, Jill, I told your dad I didn't want another baby." Now, an 8-year-old mind took that in as, "I'm not wanted, I'm not lovable." And what happens when we embed a belief like that into our subconscious mind? We live our whole lives thinking, "I'm not wanted, I'm not lovable." And then, because of the law of attraction, we attract ourselves to situations that affirm that belief. How are we seeing any potential in ourselves? How are we seeing other possibilities when that is the lens through which we see everything? We have an opportunity in every moment, with every thought, to make a shift, to shift that thought from that, whatever that limiting thought is. When we become aware of some unconscious belief we're holding, to replace it with something that serves us, with something that's true. What's true is that we are wanted, we are lovable, we are needed on this planet right here, right now. No matter who we are, we all have a role to play. We are here intentionally. Mel Schwartz says this: "The thought that we choose in the present moment is almost entirely responsible for who we are in that moment. If we continue to summon the same habitual thoughts, we won't realize the potential that awaits us." Every moment, in that nanosecond before we choose the next thought, make a choice. Choose one that serves. Choose one that uplifts. Choose one that is in service to who you are as a beautiful soul. Or not. Your choice. Your choice. But I would invite you, think about something right now that holds you back. Think about a thought. Think about maybe a belief you're holding. Think maybe you're not aware it's a belief. But think about an area of your life that's not quite working the way you would like it. What's behind that? What's behind that thing that is not quite there in your life yet? What belief maybe are you holding? What thoughts have you been thinking? What conversations are you having? Will point to you where your consciousness is. I invite you to think about one and share it with somebody you trust. Let somebody give you an A. Let somebody be the observer for you and give you an A and let them help you see that you deserve that A, that you're bigger than that thought. You're bigger than that belief that's holding you back. You are bigger than that. Give yourself an A and keep your head up. Namaste. Peace be with you.